The autumn wind swept through Riverside Park as Maya sat alone on the bench watching children laugh and run across the playground. Her wheelchair faced the swings where kids pushed each other higher and higher into the golden afternoon sky. 26 years old, and she felt invisible like a ghost watching life happen to everyone else but her. The accident 3 years ago had stolen more than her ability to walk. It had stolen her confidence, her hope, and every dream she thought would come true. Her father, Richard Montgomery, owned half the city's real estate empire, but all his money could not buy back what she had lost. Maya pulled her cardigan tighter as tears threatened to fall. She came here every Tuesday afternoon, hoping somehow things would feel different, but they never did. The children never looked her way. Parents whispered and pulled their kids closer when they noticed her wheelchair. She was about to leave when she heard a voice that would change everything. A deep, warm voice said words she never expected to hear. A tall black man with kind eyes and a beautiful 4-year-old girl holding his hand approached her bench. The little girl wore bright yellow overalls and had the biggest smile Maya had ever seen. "Excuse me, miss," the man said gently. "My daughter Zara has been watching you from the slides. She asked me if you would like to play with her." Maya's heart stopped. She looked at the little girl, whose eyes sparkled with pure innocent joy. No pity, no fear. Just a child wanting to make a friend. "I'm Marcus," the man continued, extending his hand. "We come here every Tuesday after I pick Zara up from daycare. She noticed you sitting alone, and well, she has a big heart." Maya felt something crack open inside her chest. "I'm Maya," she whispered, fighting back tears. Zara bounced on her toes. "Can we play? I like your pretty hair. It's long like a princess." Marcus smiled apologetically. "She's 4, so she says whatever comes to mind. We can leave if you want to be alone." But Maya shook her head quickly. "No, please. I would love to play with you, Zara." The little girl clapped her hands and ran toward the sandbox, calling back to Maya. Marcus looked at the wheelchair, then at Maya. "I can push you over there, if that's okay." Maya nodded, unable to speak past the emotion choking her throat. As Marcus pushed her wheelchair across the playground toward the sandbox, Maya felt something she had not felt in 3 years. Hope. Over the next hour, Zara included Maya everything. She brought buckets of sand to Maya's wheelchair so they could build castles together. She picked dandelions and tucked them behind Maya's ear, declaring her the queen of the playground. Marcus sat nearby reading a worn paperback, but glancing up often with warm smiles. When other children stared, Zara told them loudly that Maya was her friend and they should be nice. The pure, fearless acceptance of a 4-year-old shamed the adults who had ignored Maya for months. As the sun began to set, Marcus said it was time to go home. Zara hugged Maya's legs tight. "Will you be here next Tuesday? Please say yes." Maya's voice cracked. "Yes, sweetheart. I'll be here." As they walked away, Maya sat in her wheelchair, crying not from sadness but from joy. For the first time since her accident, she felt seen. She felt valued. She felt human again. When her driver came to pick her up, she told him about Marcus and Zara. The driver, who had watched her sink deeper into depression, each week smiled genuinely for the first time in months. "Sounds like you made good friends, Miss Maya." That night, Maya told her father about the playground. Richard Montgomery was a hard man built by decades of ruthless business deals, but his daughter's happiness mattered more than any contract. "Tell me about this, Marcus," he said carefully. Maya's eyes lit up as she described the kind single father and his precious daughter. The following Tuesday, Maya arrived early at the playground. She wore a new blue dress and had asked her caregiver to braid her long blonde hair. When Marcus and Zara arrived, the little girl squealed and ran straight to Maya. "You came back. Daddy said you would, but I was worried." Maya laughed. "I promised, didn't I?" They played for 2 hours. Marcus shared his lunch with Maya and they talked while Zara played. Maya learned that Marcus worked 2 jobs as a night janitor and a warehouse worker during early mornings. He was raising Zara alone after her mother left when Zara was just 6 months old. "It's hard," Marcus admitted, "but she's my whole world. I'd do anything to give her a good life." Maya saw the exhaustion in his eyes, but also the fierce love. "You're a wonderful father, Marcus. Zara is lucky to have you." Marcus smiled sadly. "I just wish I could give her more. Better daycare. A safer neighborhood. College savings. But we make it work." Maya's heart ached. Here was a man who had so little but gave everything while she had every material thing, but it felt so empty. Over the following weeks, their Tuesday meetings became the highlight of Maya's week. She started physical therapy again with renewed motivation. She smiled more. She called old friends she had pushed away. Her father noticed the change. "This Marcus must be quite special," Richard said one evening. Maya blushed. "It's not like that, Dad. He's just a good friend. And Zara is an angel." But Richard Montgomery had not built an empire without being observant. He hired a private investigator not to interfere, but to understand who had brought light back into his daughter's eyes. The report came back clean. Marcus Williams was exactly who he appeared to be. A hard-working single father struggling to make ends meet, but devoted entirely to his daughter. Richard made a decision that would change everything. One Tuesday, Marcus noticed an expensive black car parked near the playground. When he and Zara approached Maya's usual bench, a tall, silver-haired man in expensive suit stood beside her. Maya looked nervous. "Marcus, this is my father, Richard Montgomery. Dad, this is Marcus and Zara." Zara waved shyly, hiding halfway behind her father's leg. Richard extended his hand. "Mr. Williams, I've heard wonderful things about you and your daughter. Maya talks about you both constantly." Marcus shook his hand firmly despite his worn work clothes, feeling suddenly shabby next to Richard's tailored suit. "Your daughter is special, sir. Zara and I are blessed to know her." Richard smiled and something in his expression softened. "Walk with me, Marcus. Maya can watch Zara for a few minutes." The two men walked toward the fountain while Zara climbed into Maya's lap, chattering about her day at daycare. "I'm going to be direct, Mr. Williams," Richard began. "You've given my daughter something I couldn't buy with all my money. You've given her hope and friendship and a reason to live again. Since her accident 3 years ago, she's been a shell of herself. Until she met you and Zara." Marcus felt uncomfortable. "Sir, we didn't do anything special. We just treated her like a person. Like a friend." Richard nodded. "That's exactly my point. Everyone else saw her wheelchair first. You and your daughter saw Maya first. That's rare and precious." He paused. "I want to help you, Marcus. I've done my research. You work 2 jobs, barely sleep, and you're killing yourself trying to provide for Zara. Let me offer you a position at my company. Better hours. Better pay. Health insurance. A future." Marcus stiffened. "I appreciate the offer, sir, but I don't take charity." Richard's respect for the younger man grew. "It's not charity. I need a facilities manager for my downtown properties. Someone trustworthy and hardworking. The previous manager retired last month. The job is real, and you'd earn every penny. But yes, I'm offering it because you've been a blessing to my daughter, and I'd like to return the favor." Marcus looked back at Zara sitting happily in Maya's lap. Both girls were laughing at something. His pride warred with his love for his daughter. Finally he spoke. "Can I think about it?" Richard handed him a business card. "Take all the time you need. But Marcus, your daughter deserves a father who doesn't work himself to death. And Maya deserves friends who don't disappear." Over the next week, Marcus wrestled with his decision. His mother, who helped watch Zara on her days off, told him he was being stubborn. "Baby, you work so hard. This is a blessing. Take it." But Marcus worried about appearances. Would people think he was using Maya to get to her wealthy father? Would Maya think he had been her friend just for money? The following Tuesday he came to the playground, determined to decline the offer and keep things as they were. But when he arrived, he found Maya crying. Zara immediately ran to her. "Miss Maya, why are you sad?" Maya wiped her tears and tried to smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Just a bad day." Marcus sat beside her. "What happened?" Maya's voice broke. "My ex-boyfriend called. He's getting married. Before my accident, we were planning our wedding. After the accident, he said he couldn't handle it. He left me when I needed him most. And now he's marrying someone else, and I'm still stuck here broken and alone." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. "You're not broken, Maya. You're the strongest person I know. That man was a coward, and he doesn't deserve you." Maya looked at him with red-rimmed eyes. "How can you say I'm strong? I can't even walk. I can't do anything on my own." Marcus took her hand gently. "Strength isn't about walking, Maya. It's about getting up every day, even when life has knocked you down. It's about showing up to this playground every Tuesday, even though it's hard. It's about smiling at my daughter when I know you're hurting inside. You're strong because you're still here, still trying, still hoping. That's real strength." Zara climbed into Maya's lap and hugged her tight. "Don't be sad, Miss Maya. You're my best friend. I love you." Maya hugged the little girl back and cried harder, but this time from gratitude. Marcus made his decision in that moment. "Maya, I need to tell you something. Your father offered me a job last week. A good job that would change everything for me and Zara. I was going to say no because I didn't want you to think I was using you. But sitting here right now, I realize something. Friendship isn't about pride. It's about being there for each other. You've given me and Zara so much joy these past months. If your father wants to help us, I should accept it with gratitude, not suspicion." Maya's tears stopped. "Marcus, you should absolutely take the job. You deserve it. You work so hard and Zara needs you healthy and present. Please say yes." Marcus smiled. "Okay, I'll call him tomorrow." What neither of them knew was that Richard Montgomery was watching from his car nearby. He had come to check on Maya but stayed hidden when he saw her breaking down. He watched Marcus comfort his daughter with words Richard himself could never find. He watched little Zara love Maya with the pure innocent acceptance every human craves. Richard wiped his own eyes and drove away, knowing he had been right about Marcus Williams. The man was exactly the kind of person Maya needed in her life. Over the following months, everything changed. Marcus started his new job and excelled immediately. He moved Zara to a better daycare near the office. They found a safer apartment in a nicer neighborhood. For the first time in years, Marcus could breathe. But he never forgot where he came from, and he never stopped meeting Maya at the playground every Tuesday. Maya continued her physical therapy with fierce determination. Her doctor was amazed at her progress. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," he said. "Your mental state is affecting your physical recovery in remarkable ways." Maya knew exactly what was. Helping, friendship, purpose, love. She started volunteering at a children's hospital reading stories to young patients. She began speaking at disability awareness events. She went back to school to finish her degree in social work. The girl who had felt invisible was becoming a force of nature. One spring afternoon, nearly a year after they first met, Marcus arrived at the playground looking nervous. Zara ran ahead to Maya as usual, but Marcus walked slowly. "Maya, can we talk?" They sat on their usual bench while Zara played nearby. Marcus took a deep breath. "I need to tell you something, and I'm terrified to say it because I don't want to lose you. But I can't keep pretending anymore." Maya's heart raced. "What is it, Marcus?" He looked into her eyes. "I'm falling in love with you, Maya. Actually, I think I've been falling in love with you since that first day when you let my daughter's joy break through your walls. I love how strong you are. I love how you've turned your pain into purpose. I love how you love Zara like she's your own. I love you, and I needed you to know even if it ruins everything. Maya felt tears streaming down her face. Marcus, I've been in love with you for months. I was afraid to say anything because I thought you could never want someone like me. Someone broken. Someone in a wheelchair. Marcus took her face in his hands gently. You're not broken. You're beautiful and strong and everything I never knew I needed. Can I kiss you? Maya nodded and they shared their first kiss on that playground bench where everything began. Zara saw them and came running over. Are you boyfriend and girlfriend now? Marcus laughed. Would that be okay with you, princess? Zara jumped up and down. Yes. Miss Maya can be my mommy. Both adults laughed through their tears. When Richard heard the news, he invited Marcus and Zara to dinner at the Montgomery estate. Marcus was nervous walking into the mansion, but Richard greeted him warmly. I knew this would happen, Richard said. I saw the way you looked at my daughter months ago. You're a good man, Marcus. My daughter's happiness is all that matters to me. You make her happy, so you have my blessing. Dinner was joyful. Zara charmed everyone with her endless energy and questions. Richard watched his daughter laugh more than she had in years. After dinner, Richard pulled Marcus aside to his study. I have a proposition for you. I'm not getting any younger, and I need someone I trust to eventually take over parts of my business. You've proven yourself this past year. I'd like to mentor you. Teach you everything I know. Not to take my place, but to stand beside Maya as an equal partner. What do you say? Marcus was overwhelmed. Sir, I don't know what to say. You've already given me so much. Richard smiled. You've given me back my daughter. This is nothing compared to that gift. The following year was a whirlwind. Marcus proposed to Maya on the playground where they met with Zara holding the ring box. Maya said yes immediately. They had a beautiful wedding in the Montgomery Gardens. Zara was the flower girl and stole the show. Maya walked down the aisle. Not in her wheelchair, but with the help of leg braces and her father's arm. She had worked impossibly hard in physical therapy, determined to walk on her wedding day. It was slow and difficult, but she made it all the way too. Marcus, who cried openly watching his bride's strength and determination. The wedding was covered by local news as a story of hope and love overcoming all obstacles. Maya and Marcus used their growing platform to advocate for disability rights and single parents. They started a foundation to help families like Marcus's had been offering scholarships and support to struggling single parents. Richard stepped back from daily business operations and spent more time with his new granddaughter Zara. He had spent decades building an empire, but nothing made him prouder than watching his daughter rebuild her life. 2 years after the wedding, Maya and Marcus welcomed a baby boy they named Joshua. Maya's doctors had said pregnancy might be difficult given her injuries, but she defied expectations again. Zara was thrilled to be a big sister. One Tuesday afternoon 5 years after that first meeting at the playground, Maya sat on the same bench watching Marcus push Joshua on the swings while Zara played with new friends. A young woman in a wheelchair sat alone on a nearby bench looking lost and sad. Maya recognized that expression. She had worn it herself once. She wheeled over to the woman. Hi, I'm Maya. I noticed you sitting alone. Would you like some company? The young woman looked up surprised. You use a wheelchair too? Maya smiled. I do. I was in an accident years ago. It's been a journey, but life is good now. See that man and those kids? That's my family. We actually met here at this playground. The woman's eyes widened. Really? Maya nodded. Really? I know how lonely it can feel. How invisible. But you're not invisible. You're here, and you matter, and life can surprise you in the most beautiful ways if you let it. The young woman started crying. I've been so depressed. I don't know how to keep going. Maya took her hand. I understand. I've been exactly where you are. Let me tell you a story about a black single dad who changed my entire life with 5 simple words. As Maya shared her story, the young woman listened with growing hope. Marcus noticed Maya talking to someone new and smiled. He knew exactly what his wife was doing. She was passing on the gift that had been given to her. That evening at home, Maya tucked Zara into bed. The little girl who had once been 4 was now 9 years old, but still had that same big heart. Mommy, do you remember when we first met at the playground? Maya stroked her hair. Of course, sweetheart. How could I forget? You changed my whole life that day. Zara smiled sleepily. Daddy says you changed our lives too. He says before he met you, we were struggling, but now we're a real family. Maya kissed her forehead. We're all better together, baby. That's what family means. Later that night, Maya and Marcus sat on their back porch watching the stars. Did you ever imagine your life would turn out like this? Maya asked. Marcus pulled her close. Never in my wildest dreams. I was just trying to survive and give Zara a decent childhood. I never imagined I'd meet someone like you. Someone who would see past my circumstances and love me anyway. Maya laughed softly. I could say the same thing. You saw past my wheelchair and my brokenness. You saw me. Marcus kissed the top of her head. You were never broken, Maya. You were just waiting for someone to remind you of your strength. They sat in comfortable silence until Maya spoke again. I helped a woman today at the playground. She's recently paralyzed and struggling. I invited her to join our support group. Marcus smiled. Of course you did. That's who you are now. You take your pain and turn it into purpose. You help others find hope. Maya thought back to that autumn day 5 years ago when she had sat alone on that bench ready to give up. She remembered the sound of Marcus's voice saying those 5 words that changed everything. She remembered Zara's innocent joy and fearless acceptance. She remembered learning that love comes in unexpected packages and hope can bloom in the darkest seasons. Do you think we would have met if my accident never happened? Maya asked quietly. Marcus considered the question. I don't know. We lived in completely different worlds. But I believe some people are meant to find each other, no matter what. Maybe it would have taken longer or happened differently, but I think we would have found our way to each other eventually. Maya squeezed his hand. I'm glad we found each other when we did, even though it hurt getting here. The years continued to unfold with typical joys and challenges. Zara grew into a compassionate teenager who volunteered at disability centers. Joshua became a curious, energetic little boy who kept everyone on their toes. Maya's foundation expanded to multiple cities, helping thousands of families. Marcus grew the Montgomery business empire with wisdom and integrity, making Richard proud. Maya's physical abilities continued to improve, though she still used her wheelchair for longer distances. She no longer saw it as a symbol of brokenness, but as a tool that helped her live fully. On the 10th anniversary of their first meeting, Maya and Marcus returned to Riverside Park. They sat on that same bench where everything began. The playground had been renovated over the years, but the heart of it remained the same. Children still laughed and played. Parents still watched from the sidelines. Do you remember what you were thinking that first day? Marcus asked. Maya nodded. I was thinking about leaving. About giving up. I felt so alone and hopeless. And then you and Zara walked into my life. Marcus smiled. I remember Zara pulling on my hand, insisting we talk to you. She said you looked sad and needed a friend. I was hesitant because I didn't want to intrude, but she wouldn't let it go. Maya laughed. Thank God for persistent 4-year-old. They watched as Zara pushed Joshua on the swings, just like Marcus had done for her all those years ago. "We've built something beautiful," Maya said. "Not just our family, but the ripple effect. How many people have we helped? How many lives have changed because of our foundation?" Marcus nodded. "I think about that sometimes. If I had let pride keep me from accepting your father's help. If I had been too scared to tell you I loved you. If we had let fear win instead of taking risks on each other." Maya turned to face him. "But we didn't let fear win. We chose hope. We chose love. We chose to believe that life could be better than our circumstances." Marcus kissed her softly. "Best choice I ever made." As they sat together watching their children play, Maya felt profound gratitude wash over her. Her life had not turned out anything like she had planned. The accident had derailed every dream she had. But in the wreckage of those old dreams, new better dreams had grown. Dreams she never knew to ask for. A love deeper than she imagined possible. A family built not on blood alone, but on choice and commitment. A purpose that gave meaning to her pain. She thought about the young woman she had talked to recently at the playground. She hoped her story would give that woman the courage to keep going. To believe that better days were possible. "We should write a book," Marcus said suddenly. "Our story could help so many people." Maya considered it. "Maybe, but I think I prefer living the story to writing about it. Besides, our foundation does the real work. The book is being written every day in the lives we touch." Marcus nodded understanding. "You're right. Action speaks louder than words." They stayed at the playground until sunset, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. As they gathered their children to head home, Maya took one last look at the bench where everything changed. She silently thanked her younger self for showing up that day despite the pain. For being present even when it hurt. For staying open to possibility even when hope seemed impossible. "Ready to go home?" Marcus asked, taking her hand. Maya smiled. "I'm already home. Home is wherever you and our kids are." As they walked through the park toward their car, Zara skipped ahead singing a song she learned at school. Joshua chattered about ice cream and playgrounds. Marcus pushed Maya's wheelchair while their hands stayed clasped together. It was an ordinary Tuesday evening. But then again, the most extraordinary things often begin in ordinary moments. A chance encounter. A little girl's compassion. A father's kindness. A woman's courage to accept help. A decision to choose hope over despair. The story of Maya and Marcus became legend in their community. Not because it was unique, but because it was universal. Everyone faces hardship. Everyone knows loneliness. Everyone has moments when giving up seems easier than going on. But their story proved that showing up matters. That small acts of kindness ripple outward in ways we cannot predict. That love has power to heal wounds we thought were permanent. That family is built not by biology alone, but by choice and commitment and showing up day after day. Years later, when Maya spoke at conferences about disability rights and inclusion, she always returned to that autumn day at Riverside Park. "I was invisible until a 4-year-old girl named Zara saw me," she would say. "I was broken until a man named Marcus reminded me I was whole. I had given up until they gave me a reason to try again." We all have the power to be that person for someone else. To see them when others look away. To speak kindness when others stay silent. To offer friendship when others offer pity. That's how we change the world. One playground bench at a time. And in the audience there was always someone who needed to hear those words. Someone sitting in their own darkness waiting for light. Someone who had forgotten their own strength. Someone ready to give up. Maya's words and her story became a lifeline for those people, just as Marcus and Zara had been her lifeline all those years ago. The circle continued. The young woman Maya had befriended at the playground eventually started her own support group. Someone Marcus mentored at work went on to create housing programs for single parents. Zara grew up to become a pediatric nurse specializing in children with disabilities. Joshua became a teacher at schools in underserved communities. The ripples spread outward, touching lives in ways Maya and Marcus would never fully know. But they did not do it for recognition or praise. They did it because they understood something essential: that we are all connected, that one person's struggle is everyone's struggle, that one person's triumph is everyone's triumph, that the measure of a life is not in wealth or status, but in love given and received. On their 20th wedding anniversary, Maya and Marcus returned once more to that playground bench. They were older now, with gray in their hair and laugh lines around their eyes. But the love between them had only deepened with time. "If you could go back and prevent your accident, would you?" Marcus asked. It was a question he had never dared ask before. Maya was quiet for a long moment. 10 years ago, I would have said yes in a heartbeat, she finally answered. But now? No, I wouldn't change anything. The accident brought me to that bench. That bench brought me to you. You brought me back to life. We built something beautiful from something broken. Our family, our foundation, our purpose. I wouldn't trade any of that. Marcus pulled her close. I love you, Maya Montgomery Williams. Thank you for saying yes to a scared single dad and his talkative daughter all those years ago. Maya laughed through tears. Thank you for seeing me when I felt invisible. Thank you for loving me when I couldn't love myself. Thank you for showing me that strength comes in many forms and wheelchairs don't define worth. They sat together as the sun set over Riverside Park, the same park where despair had transformed into hope, where loneliness had become friendship, where two broken families had merged into one beautiful whole. Somewhere nearby, a young parent pushed a child on the swings. Someone sat alone on a bench looking lost. The cycle continued. But Maya and Marcus knew that somewhere in that park love was taking root. Hope was blooming. Someone was showing up even when it hurt. And maybe, just maybe, a 4-year-old with a big heart was pulling her father towards someone who needed a friend. The playground held countless stories. But for Maya and Marcus, it would always be sacred ground. The place where everything changed. The place where love won. The place where they learned that the most powerful words are not grand declarations, but simple invitations. Words like the ones Marcus spoke that autumn day. Words that changed everything. My daughter would love to play with you.